welcome to my channel. My name is Ra from Love is the Law, and today I am going to be talking about magic. Now the reason why I've decided to talk about magic today is because this is a question that I get asked a lot. I often get asked about what magic is, so I thought I would do a video to do my best to try and explain what magic is. But understand that this is not a simple, straightforward topic. This is a vast topic, and I highly doubt that I'm going to be able to do the subject matter any justice, but I will attempt to. This video is not the be all and end all of what magic is. This is simply a starting point for those of you who are new to magic, and I hope that this will provide a stepping stone on your journey into learning about what magic is for yourselves. Anything that I do say here will probably be contradicted by someone. As I said, magic is a vast topic, and I doubt I would even begin to be able to scratch the surface in a simple YouTube video, but I will do my best. Aleister Crowley once said that magic is the science of causing change to occur in conformity with your will. Let me explain it another way. For me, magic is the study of the universe and then the practical use of that knowledge. Hold on a minute, this isn't magic, this is science. Science is the study of the physical, material aspects of the universe. It uses the measuring standards and implements of the material universe to observe the material, physical universe. Science is effective, and it should absolutely be used for its intended purpose, for discovering and manipulating the physical, material universe. And it's extremely effective and extremely successful at doing so. Magic posits that there is more to the universe than just the physical, material aspects of the universe, and that science is only useful for mapping a small part of the universe, the material, physical part. But the universe is much more than just the physical and material. When I talk about the non-material physical aspects of the universe, i.e. things that are not manifest in our visual realm, I'm not talking about fairies per se. I'm talking about consciousness. I'm talking about mind, thought, things that cannot be perceived by the physical eye. So, to repeat what I said earlier on, magic is the study of the entire universe and then the practical use of that knowledge. Now, what do I mean by practical use? Most magicians, not necessarily witches, but most magicians for sure, when they start learning about magic, they will most likely come across the 7 Hermetic Principles or a book called the Kybalion, which contains the 7 Hermetic Principles, and they will come across the principle of mind. Everything is mind. The universe is mental. Most scientists assume, and it is an assumption, that the universe is material and that consciousness arises out of matter. Magicians, however, believe that the universe is comprised of consciousness and that the material arises from consciousness. Once this becomes your general assumption that the universe prima materia is consciousness and not physical matter, a whole world of possibilities will open up to you, and phenomena that at one point may have seemed absurd to you will start to make a lot more sense. It also follows that if we are more than just a body and the synaptic discharges of a brain causing the illusion of a reality, then we need to take care of more than just our physical selves. It argues that taking care of the totality of yourself will require more than just personal hygiene and your annual visit to the doctors. This is where the theory of your lower self and your higher self come into play. You as an individual are so much more than your physical body, than your consciousness, than your circumstances, way more than that. If you want to think of it as a category, think of that as your lower self. But I'll touch on that again in other videos. For now, let's carry on with what magic is. I want you to take a moment to think about your lower self, the part of you that is physical, the part of you that is subject to your personal circumstances. Now I want you to think about what I mentioned earlier about everything being mind. Think of the universe as a collective mind. Now that I've got you thinking about the collective mind, I want you to envision yourself as part of that collective mind, because in theory you are part of that collective mind. Now think of the creator as being a part also of that collective mind. In theory, if you keep this hypothesis going, you are connected to the all, i.e. you are connected to the creator, i.e. you in a sense have access to tap into God power. Now, I'm not for 1 second telling people to start declaring themselves gods. I just want you to sit with this for a minute and think about this theory for a minute and think about the potential that you hold as an individual when you start seeing yourself as a being of consciousness as opposed to a physical being. As a being of consciousness, you are connected to the collective consciousness, which the all is a part of. Therefore, you have constant access to that unlimited source of power. Now, I've touched on the theory of you having a lower self, as in your physical consciousness, your circumstances, your personal circumstances, and I've also talked about the collective mind and you also being a part of the collective mind, as in you having unlimited access to the all, the creator of all, and therefore God power. Now, I want you to think of these two aspects of yourself as your higher self and your lower self, okay? Now, you are your lower self because you are living a physical reality, but you are also your higher self. Now, many of us who practice magic are aware of our higher divine selves while we are in our lower physical selves. And in fact, we often use our physical selves to communicate with our higher consciousness, i.e. our higher selves, and use this knowledge and trained ability to manipulate the physical reality that we live in, the physical world that we live in, by learning how to manipulate the conscious world that we also live in. So all this is known as high magic or theurgic magic, the act of self-realization, as in coming into an awareness of what we actually are and allowing that to become your reality. If you are able to specifically see and feel the difference between your lower self and your higher self, then you are one step closer to becoming self-aware. And this is a form of high magic. So all of this is known as high magic or theurgic magic, the act of self-realization. Now, once this realization takes place, it normally takes the form of an individual actively working with divinity or aspects of divinity that have been cordoned off. For example, there are several deities that are worshipped throughout the world, that have been created throughout the world, throughout millennia, and they are often seen as aspects of the divine. The whole concept of divinity highlights the theory that everything is dual, which means that there are two aspects to everything, even in magic. In order to embrace the light and power of your magic, you also have to embrace the darkness and lower sides of your magic. Everything is dual. Working with divinity will help you come to the realization that nothing is as clear-cut as it seems. It is because of this divinity why it's so important for the practitioner of magic to do their shadow work and to go inwards so that they can outwardly manifest their intended magic. Failure to acknowledge your shadow, darker side will have a detrimental effect on your physical reality and your physical magic. Everything in balance. It is about learning to use the two together to manifest, similar to your lower self becoming aware of your higher self and working in union to become self-aware. Now, once you've come to a point of self-realization and the actual power that you hold within yourself and the connected consciousness that you are a part of, you are now in a position to, in theory, cause the improbable to happen. I say improbable instead of impossible because there are certain laws that we are governed by in the reality that we exist in, and we cannot counteract those laws. The law is the law. But there are things that we may perceive as impossible that are in actual fact improbable. For example, envisioning someone that you haven't seen in 20 years walking down the street, and then boom, you see them walking down the street. It may feel as though this is impossible, but of course it's possible. Seeing someone is possible. You're not making someone levitate in the middle of a busy road, are you? That would probably be impossible. But seeing someone is not impossible, it is improbable. And once you've come to a realization of yourself, you will hold the potential power to make the improbable happen. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, magic is something that's very difficult to cover in a simple video. It's just too vast a topic to be able to cover. But I hope that this video will give some insight to any of you who are new to the craft, to have a better understanding on the workings of magic. I also want you to think about what I mentioned in regards to your lower self and your higher self, because there are different types of magic. For example, your lower self, which is you in your physical reality with your personal circumstances, when you perform certain acts of magic to make your life easier, that is considered lower magic. There are other aspects of magic that are conducted via your higher self. But of course, these are things that you will have to learn and train for as you go through the grades of learning magic. But for now, I just want you to leave you with this. I want you to have a think about some of the concepts that I've raised. And if these appeal to you, by all means, please continue on your studies and as to what magic is and what magic means for you. And I will leave you with this. Aleister Crowley once stated that magic is the science of causing change to occur in conformity with your will. And I believe magic is a study of the universe and then the practical use of that knowledge. My name is Ra from Love is the Law. Thank you for watching. Until next time.